friends, I want to talk about the Snowdrop Ultra 55-hour event. It takes place in Houston, Texas, actually in a suburb called Missouri City, which is on the west side. It takes place at the end of the year. This year it took place on the 31st and 1st. And then it finished at 2 o'clock on the 1st, which is a total of 55 hours. A little bit about the event. I hope you'll listen to the whole video because it was a very touching experience. I've done a lot of ultras, over 40, and this could be the best one I've done. Snowdrop is a foundation that was started, I believe, in 2007. It was to support children cancer. I think primarily through Children's Medical Center. It was started for Chelsea Campbell for her 16th birthday. When she was 15, she endured a surgery which took 27 hours. So there were 2 surgeons, 4 nurses, and it took place 27 hours. So 27 times 2 for 2 surgeons, and then 1 hour for Chelsea. That's how they get the 55 hours. She suffered from a type of cancer which you have like a 10% chance to survive. And unfortunately, she didn't survive. I'm not sure how long she lived after the surgery, but it came back after she endured the surgery and the chemo. It came back vigorously, and unfortunately she didn't survive. But I did learn something about her when the race started. They talked a little bit about her, and I'll get more into that in a minute. But like I said, I hope you listen to the whole video. It's not going to be very long, but I think after you listen to this, you'll want to do this event. It's really, really spectacular. So the race takes place on a small loop in Buffalo Run Park in Missouri City. It's about 0.65 miles. So to do 100 miles, you're going to do 145 loops. My goal was to do about 150 miles. And some people did even 200 miles. And some relay teams did even longer than that, which was quite interesting. But they set it up in this park. And you basically show up the day before. You need to pick up your packet between 10 and 2 o'clock the day before. And really well organized. They give you a packet, all kinds of freebies. There's so many sponsors of this event. They have tables of stuff like wet wipes and foot salt, everything you can imagine that you can load your bathroom with. All kinds of freebies, different hydration drinks, trail toes stuff. I probably got $100 in product just at packet pickup, not including my shirt. And they gave me 2 bibs. I said, why are you giving me 2 bibs? And which is actually a personalized bib too. I had my name on there. They said, just in case you mess up one. And so I ended up putting one on pants, and I was wearing shorts. So just in case I had to change. I never did, but the weather was just spectacular. It was like in the 50s the whole time. But picked up all my stuff. Also, you want to be there that day before packet pickup, because at 8 o'clock in the morning you can set up your tent. And I got there around 8:30, and a lot of the good spots were taken already. So on this loop, which I'll show you, there's a picture of the loop here up in the corner. You can take a look at. There's a section of it in the gravel section. Probably of this loop, there's probably about 20% is concrete, and the rest is gravel, hard packed gravel. So you can wear road shoes, no problem. I actually wore Mach 6s, Hoka Mach 6s. Well, part of this loop is set up for tents. And I was able to get in the good section. But like I said, you want to be there early. They have a rule you can't set up before 8 o'clock in the morning the day before, but I'll tell you what, people did. Because there's no way they all got their places that fast before me, because I was only there 30 minutes after the time opened up. So I put up my tent. And I have to say that another thing that's impressive is they have police officers, off-duty police officers, guarding the parking lot and guarding the course the whole event, including the day before. So I set up my tent, and I don't know, there's probably 30 tents up already. Also some team tents, stuff like that. Most people stayed in a hotel the night before, but I didn't. I stayed on course. And I think there was only a few people that did this. And then on the other side of the loop, they were actually setting up the timing and the start area and just this huge plaza, where they're going to handle the food and the coffee and all this. It's a major ordeal. So they had security all over the place. And usually I don't sleep very well in tents. But I'll tell you what, I felt really comfortable. There was just something different about it. And one of the things they do on the course is they put up like yard signs, like the size of a political yard sign. Each one of them has a picture of someone that's either a child that's fighting cancer. They'll put in honor of, they'll put their name and their picture, and they're always smiling, like, full of life. Or they'll put in memory of, and in memory means that they passed away. But the whole course is lined with these signs. And I'll tell you, I'm not one to shed a tear. I mean, it's probably been a few years since my son won a karate tournament that I actually shed a few tears. I'm just not the crying type. But during this event, I cried many times. And it wasn't because of the race. I mean, it was painful, and I'll go into that. But there was just something going on at this place. Like the spirit of these kids were there. I know that sounds weird, but even when I was there the night before by myself, and there was actually one sign right in front of my tent, so I was looking at this girl the whole time when I was outside my tent. And when you're doing 145 loops, you're going to get to know every one of these kids on the course. You look at them 145 times. These signs are so big that you're not stopping to look at them. You can see them when you're walking by, and they're all smiling, full of life. It's really just a surreal experience. And anyways, I felt very safe. Like I wasn't the only one there. I know it sounds odd, but I really feel that a lot of the children were there, but they weren't. Maybe that sounds weird to their parents, but I feel very comfortable. Well, the race got started. Let's get into the race. So the race gets started at 7 o'clock the next day, and it's going to go for 55 hours. It started on time. The timing was done by MCM Timing. I've never heard of them before, but it was really impressive. I've never seen anything. They had like 3 sensor mats that you had to pass, and then you had a regular bib with an RF strip on it, and then they had an RF card. It was like a square card. I thought it'd be odd to put on my shoe, but it actually fit on there and it didn't move around. Some people put it on there as wrong and it was flopping around, but so there was some duplication to prevent any kind of errors. And the system was really nice. When you cross the mat, he had a big screen so you could see your place among everybody, how many, your time per lap, how many laps you've done, which is important because you want to get to the 145 to get the 100 miles, or if you want to go further, so forth. But a lot of people were just out there to get to 100 miles. And this race has no cutoffs, so you basically have 55 hours. Now, I ran nonstop. I didn't take any sleep breaks or anything. I ran it like a regular ultra. And so you get started. We all got started, and the weather was very good. And this event has restaurants coming in nonstop, catering this ultra. It was unreal. Lunch, and these restaurants would come in with their own staff and feed people. I didn't go to all of them, but I won a famous restaurant called Lazy Dog in Houston. They had like noodles and beef, and then they had a barbecue place that catered. They had a pizza place that catered. There was constantly catered food coming in. So you're not eating peanut butter sandwich. They have those on course. So you have one main aid station because it's 0.65 miles. A lot of people weren't even carrying anything. They weren't even carrying a water bottle. I carried a water bottle, a small water bottle. And so they had the regular aid station, and then behind that they had this food pavilion tent, and then there's actually two of them. One of them was like a coffee bar, tea. I mean, they had coffee canisters like you would see in a gas station, where you could always get coffee 24 hours. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Never seen anything like it. I mean, it was at the level of like a Javelin 100, maybe even better when you take everything into consideration. So I'm running my race and just pushing along, and things were going really well for me. I was on track for maybe hit a 25-hour 100. That would be a PR by like 2 hours. Unfortunately, around mile 85, I had some severe lower back problems, and they said you couldn't use poles in this event, so I didn't bring any, but ended up seeing a few people that had poles. So the lesson there is always bring poles to an event. That actually had a previous event that said you couldn't use them, and people used them anyways. If I'd had poles, I would have finished a lot quicker, but that last 15 miles took me about 5 hours. It was brutal. But I started out this event, and I remember I was like in 56th place. And I don't care too much about the place, but it keeps you something to look forward to, because every 0.6 miles you're going to see the monitor, and you kind of say, well, let's see if I can improve one or root one, and you go up one, go down one. But anyways, by the middle of the night, I had gotten all the way to 9th place from 56th place. So I was doing really well to finish, and I was just going to keep going. And I know a lot of that place improvement was due to some people taking a nap or sleeping and coming back the next day or whatever, but I didn't care. I pushed through, and I wasn't the only one. There were some other people pushing through too. But on this course, like I said, there's pictures of all the children on the course, and it's really moving. And I would look at them, try to remember their names. And Chelsea Campbell, you know, they talk so much about Chelsea Campbell because this race was started for her 16th birthday, but I never seen a picture of her. And even at the pre-race meeting, they were talking about her and her cancer and how she is so full of energy, and she always acted like she wasn't that sick. There's a picture of her on the course, and she's laying in bed and she's smiling. I saw that thing 145 times. I tell you what, it really had me thinking of all the pain, even when my legs got to really hurting and my feet hurting and my lower back was hurting. My lower back started hurting. I mean, it was hurting really bad. I was in like a forward lean. I mean, I'd have to stop. I mean, the loop is only 0.6 miles. I'd have to stop one or twice, sometimes twice a loop during that last 15 miles, and I'd put my back up against a fence, try to stretch my hip flexors. There was a massage clinic on course that was helping, and they said, stretch your hip flexors, it will go away. No, it did not. It just kept getting worse. And I was in a lot of pain. But the whole time I'm thinking, you know, what these kids are going through, and I could feel the spirit on the course. There was no way I was going to DNF, and there was no way they were going to let me DNF. If I had to crawl, I would have finished that race. And I wasn't the only one. There were some people leaning and hurting, some people limping, and you know, some people had the same issue I did, and they were a lot further from the finish. I ran all night long. So I only had to suffer pain for 15 miles, but a lot of these people had to suffer that kind of pain for like 50 miles. And I know because I saw my placing when I finished, and my placing when I finished, even though I hobbled along for 5 hours, I was still like in 25th place. It's because I ran all night long. Yeah. Anyways, it was a very moving event. You know, and then another thing that really touched me was one of the signs on course, they changed during the race. And I was thinking to myself, you got to be fucking kidding me. One of the children didn't die during the race, did they? And that's what I thought happened. because like I said before, one of the signs they say in honor of or in memory of. In honor of, I understand to mean that they're fighting cancer now. In memory of means they passed away. Well, one of the signs that said in honor of this little girl, I can't remember her name, blonde hair, they changed from in honor to in memory of during the race. And how do we know that? They put a sticker over and changed it to in memory and wrote something below. I didn't really see what they wrote. I checked it later, but they put some flowers below the sign too. So hours went by. I'm thinking to myself, here I am in pain. And a child just died during this race from cancer. It really touched me. It turns out later, I looked at the fine print. She passed away on the 20th, a few days before, but it didn't matter. This whole event was surreal and made me really, I've donated to Children's Medical Center before, but this changed the whole game for me. It's going to be a big issue for me in the future, and I'm not going to miss this race ever again. I never did this race before because I always did Bandera 100K, which is the first week of January. Well, Bandera 100K is just going to have to go away. This event was so special, so incredible. Anyways, I kept plodding along. So around the 30-hour mark, like I said, I should have finished at 25 hours. I ended up finishing like 31 hours because I literally had to crawl basically the last 15 miles. Not literally crawl, but I was hunched over in a power lane. You know, people do ultras know what I'm talking about. One thing they make you do, not make you do, but one part of the process is when you go from lap 44 to lap 45, your last lap, when you pass the timing mat, they call your name out. They know it's your last lap, and they say something about it. I had to do like a little bio, and they knew I suffered from skin cancer before. I was a survivor, and a little bit about me. I didn't tell them very much. Some people told them quite a bit. I'm glad I didn't, because I was really kind of somewhat embarrassed how I finished because my back was so messed up. I literally was like hunched over, but I wasn't gonna quit. But anyways, excuse me, on your last lap, you have to ring a cancer bell. And I tell you, not because I was finishing the race or I had cancer before, but just the spirit of this event. It took every ounce of energy in my body not to just start bawling. It was so emotional. They're calling your name out. The whole crowd is cheering for you. And in my case, I was still crawling along, basically. It was going to be a slow last lap. But they make you ring a cancer bell. And then they give you a baton, a white baton. And you got to carry this white baton the whole last lap. And everyone sees the white baton and is cheering you on. They know it's your last lap. It was just unbelievable. And then when I finished, they sat me down. They took my chip off. And they gave me my buckle for finishing, which is a picture right here. It's made by some silversmith company. It's probably I have over 30 buckles, 100K, 100-miler buckles. I got so many of them. This is by far the best. This is the type of buckle you would get if you finished sub 24 at a big ultra. It's just beautiful. And then they gave me a 100-mile completion sticker for my car. I'll just put that in my gym, but I thought it was neat that they did that. And they also gave me a small miniature banner. So when you finish, they have two people holding a Snowdrop banner, just like you won the event. And you crash through it just like you would win a major marathon. It was really unbelievable. They give you a miniature one so you can take home. I don't know, I just can't say enough about this event. The race director, the husband and wife, just did an incredible job. But you need if you want to do this event, you got to register earlier in the year. It fills up pretty fast, and you'll see me out there. I'm gonna do it every year. I'm just trying to think if I forgot anything that I wanted to say about this event. I'm just saying, I want to tell you it's very special, and I'm just kind of kicking myself. I hadn't done it in previous years, and like I said, it's because I always did Bandera 100K. You can't do two big events like that so close, but it's really incredible. Next year I'm gonna have a better tent. And my plan is to take my family this time. A lot of people took their family. And after I finish, I'm gonna sit in a chair and cheer everyone on the rest of the event. There was one guy there, I think his name was Conrad. He was only like across from my tent, but he sat there the whole event telling me, "You're crushing it, go, go, go." He did that the whole event. It was incredible. There were many other people cheering people on too. I just can't say enough about this event. But thanks for listening. If you have any questions about that, just send me a comment. Happy to chat with you about it. I highly recommend it. Snowdrop 55-hour Ultra. Missouri City, Texas. Houston, Texas. Be there or be square. Bye for now.